Hello, people. Today we're going to talk about buy and hold versus flexibility in investing in real estate. Okay. Now, there's all kinds of strategies for investing in real estate, but the two most common are buy and hold or just pure flexibility where you're reacting to market changes because you can't predict them. Let's take a look at buy and hold first. Usually there's a goal of how many rentals people would like to own by retirement. Let's begin with an investor with a property that he's lived in for years. He's 30 years old. It's 1980. He has the happy accident and the misfortune of living in San Diego. He's had the rental for 5 years. He's going to retire at 65. Now, what this means is he must have everything finished by the year 2015. Nothing after that. He paid $70,000 for the first one, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage. Now we have a problem due to the national economy going into absolute sewer in 1981. What do I mean by that? Well, the prime rate was 20%, FHA was 17.4, and conventional was 18, sometimes higher. Now, didn't get close to calming down until the late 80s. And the calming down, I don't mean things got affordable. What I mean is they started selling again because the interest rates got, well, they were down to 11 and 12. And then they got down below 10. And I'm going to tell you right now, from the time I started in October 15th of 1969, I was 2 months past my 18th birthday until 2001. I did not see an interest rate for 30-year fixed rate loans start with a number lower than 7. I kid you not. So everybody that's gotten used to having interest rates below 3 for a while and 3 and 4 and 5%, celebrate because you don't know what you missed in those 30 years. Okay. Now, the bottom line is all this price and current rental appreciation happening relatively hugely was good. That's the really good news. The really bad news is that what I just talked about, the interest rates, they went down, but they went down very slowly. Ever noticed how interest rates go down a lot slower than they go up? Yeah, me too. So I was there at the time, and I've been licensed for almost 55 years and was amazed at how the housing market still kept afloat with sales. I watched it with total disbelief. But people want to live in houses. It's the American dream. So they'll do what it takes. Our wise investor bought another house in 1987. The way he was able to pull it off was he was a big earner and his wife worked too, just regular income. They were able to save all of her after-tax income, so they had 7 years of savings, and they were able to get a house in a blue-collar neighborhood for around 135. So the house they paid, first house, 77, second house, 135. You see the way things are going. Now they put 40% down so they could afford the interest rates at the time. Now, I'm going to fast forward to 2015. I'll let you know they didn't buy in properties in the 90s until late 90s because a thing called the savings and loan crisis came. Remember that one? Yeah, me too. And the pipe dream of keep buying every 5 to 7 years just disappeared. They were able to buy once in the 80s, once in the 90s. That kind of wrecks a plan, doesn't it? Now, bottom line, even though they managed to use $410,000, but from savings, they had 5 free and clear homes, and all they had to do was pay taxes and insurance by the time they hit retirement at 215. That's 2015. Remember, they started in 80, being serious. and they're just doing nothing but buy and hold because they thought that was the best. All right. Now the 5 houses, taxes had risen to a total of $40,000 a year. Insurance was roughly $225 per home per house for the 5 homes. Total rent for the homes was $15,000, and it was only that much because only 3 of the homes were in improving neighborhoods when they acquired them, so the gross was $180,000 a year. Oh wait, did I tell you they had to pay for all the management and all the repairs, blah blah blah? Management for a house is around 10%. If you know somebody that is in the management company and they give you a discount, you pay 8. Okay? Now, the youngest home they had bought was 25 years old at the time of purchase. Now, what this means is they had roughly an old bunch of properties that were requiring more maintenance every year. They didn't plan on that because they never thought of it. If I had been there, I'd have told them all the little bad things like this to watch out for. But it was too late. Now, as I said, the management at the time was 10%, so their net income for the year came out to roughly 90 grand. Not bad. I agree. Not bad. Understand, though, that rental income in San Diego probably saved their income due to the precipitous rise over those years. Let me give you some relative numbers. In 2024, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, 1,250 to 1,300 square feet, totally outfitted kitchens with a laundry room also and 2-car garage in Texas is just now going over $2,000. If you go into San Diego State and want a 1-bedroom apartment for your girl to rent with a roommate, it's going to start out at $2,300 to $2,500 unless you know the owner. I know, sticker shock, right? It's that bad in San Diego. Now, let's look at being flexible. What would be the difference? Remember, they're grossing around 90,000, and every year that gross is going to be affected by the difference between how high the rents go, and eventually they're going to get to the top where they can't get much higher, or the raises get much lower percentage. But the maintenance is going to keep going up, and every now and then you're going to have to replace some pretty costly things. All right. Think about air conditioning, heating, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when the house they used to live in rose in value, they sold it for a nice profit. However, the great investment advice, they decided to do a tax deferred exchange. That was the right thing to do. They decided to do the same thing in 1999. They discovered that they had net equity to exchange of $285,000. Add 8 more years of the wife's savings, and that was $400,000 total. They acquired 4 fourplexes still in San Diego County. Fast forward to 2004, ever more appreciation had occurred in the San Diego market. It was crazy to watch. I watched the whole thing and I couldn't believe it was still happening. Now, this is when their broker, me, told them to trade all their San Diego property, which was a pretty good pile of cash, into Texas. They acquired most of it with their $1 million in net equity in the 4 duplexes, 15 brand new Texas duplexes. Think about it, 15 brand spanking new duplexes. All right? Now, they paid an average of $250,000 for each duplex, putting 25%, down. Now, since the last trade, the income has risen from $1,175 a side of each duplex to $1,995 a side. Took a while for that to happen now. They refinanced on my advice when they had the most recent interest rate drop and ended up with 3.75 interest for 30 years. Not bad, huh? Not bad. With their savings and cash flow from all 15, they concentrated free and clearing their duplexes one at a time. By the time they retired in 2015, they had paid off 4 duplexes and were just a few months away from paying off the 5th. Rents had gone from $1,200 per side to $1,500 per side and still slowly rising. Today, those properties are still less than 20 years old, and the average rent is $19.95 a side. In other words, months after they retired, 5 months to be exact, they were averaging over $72,000 a year just out of those 5 out of the 15. The other 10 were grossing $480,000 a year, minus 40% management, upkeep, vacancy factor, etc., etc. Bottom line, the 10 still encumbered properties at the time of retirement were averaging $850 a month a piece in net cash flow, in addition to their free and clear ones. Even if you dial that down a bit, being incredibly safe in our numbers, that's another $65,000 before taxes, not counting depreciation tax write-off. The comparison is making $90,000 net being generous. Or in Texas, by doing it the flexible way, they were making a minimum $130,000 every time they free and clear something. It went up noticeably. Now, how much are those 14 duplexes making, you ask? And how much are they worth? Well, I've already told you what they're making, and it's just going to go up. They're now, after paying $250 a piece, they're now worth $5.25 to $635, depending on location. You can't make that up. Which means every time they free and clear one, their net worth is skyrocketing. All right? All of them more than doubled. And that's in Texas, not San Diego. Now, after their last exchange close, it's 9 years since they retired. We're talking the present. The value of their 5 houses in San Diego are now worth $4.5 to $5 million, and literally almost unsaleable due to the interest rate and qualifying for a loan. The problem is the average house in San Diego is now worth $1 million, and the average household income in San Diego, the median household income in San Diego, is $99,000. Now match those two numbers up, and they don't add up. That means you can't qualify for even $500,000. Now, if you have $500,000 equity, you still can't buy it. You have to put a minimum more than half down to buy that average house. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you. Now, almost all houses in San Diego are entering that realm. It's sad. There's going to have to be a turn down at some point, and I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. All right? In Texas, their properties are worth $7.9 million. They have the same amount of free and clear as they did with buy and hold, but the Texas properties have 10 units free and clear. Since 2015, retirement that they have managed to free and clear with their super low interest rates, another 3 properties, and they are not 75 years old yet. Those 8 free and clear properties are now yielding $187,000. With their other properties, they are over $200,000 in income. I rest my case. You need to be flexible and move when the market tells you to move, and not go by any pre-planned 40-year plan. you're committing retirement suicide. Catch you next time.